Is this movie bad? No.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of the Creature Popcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Lindsay.
You know, I was going to say that now that we're getting into spooky season, but this is stupid because we do a horror movie podcast and every day's Halloween around here. But we are kicking off the first of our October episodes, and we're doing that with 1985's Fright Night. Written and directed by Tom Holland, who started off mainly as a writer. He wrote Cloak and Dagger. He wrote Psycho 2, which is a movie that I kind of secretly dig. But this is his first directing movie. But 3 years later, he's going to write and direct a little movie called Child's Play that will bring Chucky, for better or worse, into our world. So that's my big intro. Do you want to start off Fright Night?
Absolutely. Okay. So we start out with it's a night and it's a full moon.
Yep.
So we see a house is for sale. And then we actually bypass this house for sale into the next house and then go upstairs and we go into the movie on the TV screen. And then it's a pretty much empty bedroom, it seems. And then we notice that there's two teens making out on the floor.
On the floor. Yeah, they're on the floor in between the bed and the wall because as teenagers making out, they want to not be if mom opens the door. Now, what is your parent going to fucking think if you pop up from the floor on the side of the bed?
Yes, exactly.
It's not going to be much better, but I think it affords them a little nest, which is apt because Amy, the girl, is not comfortable.
Charley is the boy and Amy is the girl, and Charley won't stop trying to feel Amy up.
Right.
To the point where she keeps telling him to stop and then going back to making out, and then she eventually yells at him and sits up. And then pure 80s fashion, she capitulates. So before, she was yelling at him for feeling her up, and now she's ready to have sex with him.
Right.
Make love, as she called it.
This is her arc through this movie, and it's complicated and it's a lot. Because she is a floor mat, as we will see later on. So I'm going to flesh this out a little bit. So yeah, there is a very hammy Dracula movie happening on the screen. And basically the Van Helsing of the movie, played by Roddy McDowall, who will be a main character in this, named Peter Vincent, comes out to fight off the vampire with the stake held backwards as he walks off screen. It's supposed to be really dumb. It's odd, though, because he introduces himself in the movie as Peter Vincent, and that is supposedly his name off of it. So it's almost like his working actor name. It's as if Brad Pitt showed up in a movie as a vampire killer named Brad Pitt.
Yes.
So it's very weird. And then, yes, Amy stops the makeout session and Charley very toxically goes, "This is all I ever hear from you is no. We've been dating for a year." Yeah. And so, she sits down on the bed and undoes her shirt and she's like, "I'm ready." And that is when
Charley notices outside the window there's guys carrying a coffin to the next door neighbor's house.
So he just happens to look down and see these two men carrying a coffin that looks like a chocolate eclair. It's a very weird looking coffin. And that distracts Charley to such a degree that when Amy sits down on the bed just exposed, bra still on, she looks at her own body and then covers it up and lays down and says, "Okay, I'm ready." And it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
Because Charley's now moved on from this hard-ass thing that she's had to struggle within her brain to capitulate to, like you said. It's rough.
So then she gets huffy and puts her shirt back on and she leaves, and then he realizes that she left and he follows her downstairs. Yeah. But then there's a weird scene with his mom wanting to talk to the kids about their relationship. They're obviously in a fight or whatever, and she makes some weird comment about them, having to talk things out if they ever get married or something. I don't really remember.
The mom just said it's okay to have fights because 76% of married couples who didn't fight before they are married get divorced.
Right. How old are they supposed to be?
They're high school.
She's just and when you get married...
You gotta remember this is 1985, right?
It is 85.
That's so crazy.
And the culture for women back then still was that you were looking for a husband. It is a little outside of the norm that this is a single mother.
This is a single mother, and there's a lot of outside... Okay, so I don't know when to do this.
For some reason, they wanted the girlfriend to be a doormat, but the mom was a single mother. And
Thank you. I was saying floor mat all last night in my notes, and I knew it was wrong, and I didn't know why. It's doormat.
Doormat.
Thank you. Okay, so real quick. Charley is played by William Ragsdale. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Have you guys ever heard of Herman's Head?
Yeah.
Okay, he's in all the episodes of Herman's Head. Essentially, it's like a raunchy kind of...
Was it a show?
Yeah.
Okay. And
politically
it was
incorrect show.
All the people were in his mind.
It's Pixar's Inside Out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Before Pixar's Inside Out. Yeah. And it was on Fox, and it was probably around the same time and block as Married with Children. Amy is played by Amanda Bearse, who was in 259 episodes of Married with Children. She was Marcy D'Arcy, the next door neighbor. She would go on to direct 31 of those episodes of Married with Children, and then she just stopped acting as much. She still does, but is mainly a director of television now. So those are our two kids. They're in high school, and we'll roll from there.
Charlie is still distracted. He's looking out the window while his mom is talking to his girlfriend, and he's just trying to see what's going on next door. And then as Amy's saying goodbye, he does not respond, and so Amy again stomps out and slams out of the house. Mom tells Charlie someone who fixes up houses moved in next door, and they're supposed to be very attractive.
Yeah. Mom's immediately horny for the next door neighbor, which is also not normal. A single mom who's also being like talking to her son about kind of wanting to bang the next door neighbor is.
So then we close up on the TV news, airing a story about a murder by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, we're exiting the scene by going into the
TV. So now it's the next day, and we're at school, and we meet Charlie's friend Evil, and he hates being called Evil, but Charlie will not stop calling him Evil.
Okay, I have a whole thing with Evil Ed. His name is Edward. Charlie calls him evil. This is a character that I watched this movie very young. And there was a time when I was very young that I tried to get people to call me evil. I tried to make evil happen, and it didn't. And in rewatching the movie, I'm like, what did I see in this character that I wanted to identify with so much?
I have no idea.
I think young me really thought he was funny, but in rewatching it, he is very clearly on the spectrum. He's intensely autistic.
Yeah. I wonder what you saw in him.
Shut up, Jamie. I'm not having anyone diagnose me, including you. So his speech patterns are erratic and shrill and shaky. He's definitely the weird kid. They are friends. He doesn't like being called evil, but that's really it. He's also kind of portrayed later on as the expert in weird stuff.
Right.
Anyway, real quick, Evil is played by Stephen Joffreys. He was in A Twilight Zone. He was in 967 Evil as well before he went off to a career in gay pornography. And that's where he went. Well, that's important because also Amanda Bearse, only about 5 years and change after this movie came out as just an open lesbian. Yeah. And as I'm being reminded of this stuff, it really colored my watching of this movie. Okay. Yeah, I know this is coming out of nowhere, but...
Okay, so we're at school, and Evil is walking down the hall, and Amy's still mad. Like, Amy comes by and, elbows them.
Shoulders past them.
Charlie and Evil, and just shoulders past. So Amy is still mad at him. And then Evil's like, you're failing trig. And that was, the end of that whole scene.
There is a couple weird cuts in the beginning of this movie that we jump. We're going to jump again to a real short scene in a minute. But when Evil notices the Amy push by, he goes, what's the matter? Did she find out what you're really like? Right. Which is kind of an interesting thing for him to say. Yeah. So even Evil knows Charlie's a fucking walking dickbag.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're driving home from school, and Charlie's in some sort of sports car that's been in the process of
It's got shitty primer gray spots all over it. It's a 66 Mustang.
And then a pretty woman comes out of a cab while he's getting out of his car, and she's right in front of his house, and she's like, is this...
99 Oak is actually what it was,
99 Oak. And he's like, no, that's next door. So she heads next door.
And he just eats her ass with his eyes. Yeah. He's all like, oh, this hot girl. Yeah. Ha.
Later, as Charlie is upstairs...
that was a really bad sentence I just said, sorry.
As Charlie's upstairs, we hear a woman scream from next door. And he's upstairs doing his homework, and we hear a woman scream, and then now he's at a diner.
Yeah, it's very choppy in the beginning. It's a really awkward cuts, and you're like, is this the same night, the next night? But real quick, when Charlie sends the pretty girl next door, he goes inside and talks to his mom again. And his mom mentions that there's a live-in carpenter next door, and that bumps her out because knowing her luck, that means they're gay. Yeah. Because she's hot for the next door neighbor. It's also important because there's a Renfield next door.
There is a Renfield.
Which is being shown as this is a live-in carpenter.
Is a Renfield.
Yeah. So then Charlie tries to do his studies. How I interpret this is the screaming girl makes him go not do anything but go to the diner because he can't study at home with a girl screaming next door. It's very strange. Yeah. But now we're in the diner. So
now we're in the diner. He's studying. There's a bunch of kids here. Amy shows up. She sits at the table. Charlie apologized, but Amy takes all the blame.
And Charlie is surprised. He's like, I'm sorry for last night. She's like, no, it was my fault. He's like, it was? Mm-hmm. she just lays down in front of him, and even though he's himself surprised at how much of a doormat she is, he's just like, okay.
So as she continues to talk to him, the news starts to talk about another murder. This time it's the same woman that he saw go into the neighbor's house. Charley literally walks away from her while she's talking to him.
She's talking.
And walks up to the television, and then Evil joins him, and they're talking about how the bodies were beheaded.
Evil has a true crime-esque obsession here. He's like, there's 2 bodies, and did you hear that their heads were chopped off?
Yeah.
All while Amy has walked up behind them, stolen somebody's sloppy Joe.
Yes. Amy's upset. He is ignoring her again. She walks up to some guy, like, getting ketchup on his sloppy Joe, and, like, literally steals it from his fucking plate, goes up to Charley, and smashes it in his face.
And then storms out.
And then leaves.
And,
well done, Amy.
And Evil laughs his face and goes, "You're so cool, Brewster." Just like that. I didn't put any mustard on that. That was exactly, because that's how this guy talks.
Yeah.
And the "You're so cool, Brewster" is kind of like the iconic line of this movie.
Yeah. All right, so later at home, Charley is looking at the neighbor's house again and getting close. Like, he's walking up towards the house.
Yeah.
And he's about to open the basement, you know, those storm doors that they have sometimes.
The, like, cellar outside doors, yeah.
Yeah, and the carpenter guy sees him because he's already in the basement. He, like, puts down his paintbrush and he runs outside.
And he's painting the windows black.
He is painting the windows
black. So
black.
that's what he's down there doing. Yeah. And he just kind of slams down the paintbrush when he notices this kid's getting too close to our house.
Yeah. So then he goes out and asks him what he's doing, and Charlie's like, nothing. So he's like, well, make sure it stays that way.
Why would a vampire move into, like, a fucking suburban neighborhood? That's the worst. People are going to be in your business.
You're right.
Yeah.
Should've moved to a fucking secluded...
Yeah.
This movie has a sequel to it. It also has a remake and a sequel to the remake, which I didn't know about.
Move into the city, like a huge apartment building where nobody's going to look at you.
The Fright Night 2 is in an apartment building.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good that you mentioned this because this is more like an idyllic suburb looking.
Yeah.
This set is very odd, and it's because it's old. It was built in the 60s on a Disney backlot, and it's where That Darn Cat was filmed. And yeah, and I was just watching some trailers, and it also is where part of Something Wicked This Way Comes was filmed, which I love. So if you look down the street, sometimes the camera, Charlie's outside, there's a weird church.
Yeah.
And there's a later part of the movie where we step off of this back lot and suddenly are in like alleyways, urban alleyways. And I'm like, you're walking Amy home. How is this in between her home and anyway, we'll get there. But I just wanted to bring up because it is supposed to be like an idyllic suburb, but it's very odd in the movie because they're just repurposing an old built set. Anyway.
Okay, so we're back in Charlie's room and he falls asleep watching a horror movie and later wakes up to a woman next door in the window. And then a man comes up behind her and she takes off her bra. So we get a boob shot. Standard 80s boob shot.
And when they cut into the scene, he's literally sitting in this chair with a bag of Tostitos and the binoculars. And my notes say he's rear windowing it. But yeah, this is kind of an interesting, creepy scene because the young woman in the room next door clocks Charley.
Yeah.
And just stares at him kind of dead-faced. Like, done, resigned. And then we get the first images of our vampire character come up, and then the vampire clocks Charley. And he doesn't panic or anything. He just moves around to the blinds, and we see his beautiful...
Right, we'll get there.
Okay, whatever.
So then the man has fangs, and he makes eye contact with Charley right as he's about to bite her neck. And so he slowly pulls the blinds down with pointy nails. And then Charley goes to tell his mom that the neighbor has fangs, but she doesn't care.
So what I did want to say is as he pulls the blinds, both of them are just eye-locked with Charley. And it's cool. It's fucking creepy as shit because Charlie's like, I caught you at doing something. And they're like, fuck you, my man. Yeah.
So she doesn't care that the neighbor has fangs, and then we see the...
She doesn't believe that he has
No, she doesn't, So we see that the carpenter guy is carrying something in a trash bag. It looks like a body. Out to a Jeep.
So apparently they dispatched this young woman upstairs very quickly.
Yeah. And then the movie is showing us from the vampire's perspective
as he
like jumps off the top of the house.
It's real cool. You don't think it's a POV shot. It just looks like a camera is looking down at the carpenter, and then suddenly it starts running, and you hear the boots on like the roof.
On the roof.
And then the POV jumps off the roof, and you can hear it turn into a bat.
And he throws a purse at the carpenter like you forgot.
Right, you forgot the purse.
Yeah, and then Mom goes outside yelling for Charley because I forgot to say that Charley went outside to go hide in the bushes.
Yeah, Charlie's watching all this in the bushes.
And again, Bro moved into a suburb and was like, no one will notice if I run off the roof of my house and turn into a bat
That is happening.
fly away.
That is happening.
That is happening.
I don't like this critical eye that you're putting towards Fright Night because I didn't think about any of it.
Okay, so the vampire and the carpenter notice Charley and throw an apple at him.
Well, and it's funny. You laugh, but I always had an association with fruit and vampires, and it's because of this movie, right? He's constantly eating fruit.
I talk about it.
Okay, this movie, if there's a checkbox of vampire lore in this movie, they check it. So there's fog, there's wolves, there's turning into bats, there's all of this. There's holy water. So I have to be like, did Tom Holland just like misunderstand something? It was like, they eat fruit a lot too, right, guys? And it's just like the only instance of a vampire constantly eating fruit. Anyway.
All right, so Charley runs back to the house. Mom is inside with him, and she's made him hot cocoa. She's talking about how the marshmallows won't melt. Now, she didn't get mini marshmallows that melt in a microwave. She's got giant ones.
I love that's your problem. She's like, this bitch does. No wonder they're not melting, Mom. You dingbat.
So she like just starts eating his marshmallows out of his cocoa because he's like, I don't want cocoa.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate. The mom is a good character in this that they just disappear from this movie. It's crazy. So
she doesn't believe him about the vampire. Now suddenly he's telling Amy that the neighbor's a vampire. Again, I have a disconnect on what happened with the time. So I'm like, did he call Amy? Has Amy not come to his house in the middle of the night? Or what's going on? I don't know what's going on. So Amy thinks it's a trick to try to get her back. But dumb Charley just says, I'm going to go to the police and tell them about the women, and leaves her again.
Well, in this instance, I can kind of see he's like, there are murders happening. This is important.
He hasn't seen a body yet.
I'm sorry you don't believe me, but I got to deal with it.
Now, this daytime now. The police are coming back with Charley to the neighbor's house.
They're just following each other to the house. Yeah. And I'm just like, how did you convince... And if you did, why would he let you come with him on this trip inside the house? And then they get out of the car, and he like turns to him and like, are you sure about this kid? And then he's like, yes. And so they go up to the door, and they actually go inside. They let him inside. And, like, Charley is snooping around, and while he's snooping around, he finds a painting that looks just like Amy. Right. But that's, like, momentary. He's like, Amy? And then off to next. So the interior of the house is very big. It's the first time we get to see the inside. It's cobwebby. There's statues. There's a lot of boxes that are, like, you could tell that this is more like he's got a bunch of art or something.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crates.
And there's a big staircase going up to the second floor with this giant circular stained glass window there. It all looks neat, and you're like, cool, you built a set for the third act.
Right. So that's cool. The carpenter says that Jerry is away on business, and that Charley just saw bags of trash. And Charley says that he can prove it if they just go down to the basement and check for the coffin. And then that's when the cop realizes that...
Yeah. He starts doing the vampire tale, and the cop's just like, oh, you're a crazy kid.
Yeah, you're a crazy kid.
You're not, because he shouldn't have dropped vampire into this.
No, he shouldn't. And then he actually says Jerry is sleeping the sleep of the undead. He's a vampire. So the police officer then takes Charley out of the house, and he leaves.
And it's like, don't come back. Like, you're lucky that I'm not pressing charges for this bullshit, and if you ever show up again... I'll throw your ass in jail
forever.
In this scene, we learn the names. So the carpenter's Billy Cole. And then
never call him that ever.
And we know that the vampire is named Jerry, which is a weird name.
It's a weird name. What's his last name?
Jerry Dandridge.
And
he is played by
Chris Sarandon.
Chris Sarandon. Boy, I left that on my notes. Who is a cop in Child's Play. Is the speaking voice of Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas. Not the singing voice. And...
is the evil prince from Princess Bride.
Prince Humperdinck.
Yeah.
That's the big one. So our vampire is Prince Humperdinck.
And you can see Prince Humperdinck all over this.
He's great at this. I think he really makes a meal of this movie.
Sure.
And hilariously, as I was getting deeper in the movie, I was doing research, and I hit the trailer for the Colin Farrell remake of this, and there is a line in the trailer that's like, what kind of name for a vampire is Jerry?
I know.
So they actually make fun of his name
in the trailer. I love it.
In the trailer for the remake.
So the remake does also have Jerry as a name. That's
Colin Farrell's character is named Jerry.
That's great.
Apparently.
I love it. That's so great. I mean, he's a modern vampire.
I mean, arguably...
It could be Jeremiah or something.
Yeah.
And that goes with
Jerry and his fabulous carpenter boyfriend. They're just trying to
Just
live
try
their
to
lives.
Get by in this.
They do have a very close
Dog-eat-dog world.
relationship.
Every pairing of men have a very close relationship in this that I'm leading us to. There's a closeness and a sweetness and a sadness to a lot of this.
Yeah. Okay. Charlie looks at his watch and then drives to Evil's house to tell him what's going on and asks Evil to help him know what to do to protect myself against vampires. Evil, who hates being called evil, he doesn't want to help him. And then Charlie's like, I'll pay you $8 if you help me.
$8.
$8. So Evil tells him to get a cross and garlic and hang it around his neck and holy water. And then the vampire cannot enter his house without being invited by the rightful owner.
Oh.
So perfect.
Don't forget about the thirsty mother.
Yeah, I mean, you knew exactly where this was.
So he goes home and he nails his window shut. And then Mom asks him to come downstairs
And meet the fucking neighbor.
and meet
It's
the
a
neighbor.
meeting. It's a
Jerry
meeting.
Dandridge is in his living room, and Mom has invited him in.
And they're both drinking Bloody Marys, which
Yeah.
is a funny little...
Of course.
Mom's horny for the guy.
Jerry says that now that he's been invited in, he can come whenever he wants. And
is-
Charlie, frightened, actually goes upstairs.
Does he say that to both of them
No,
or
he
just
says
to
it
Charlie?
just to-
No,
Okay.
he
Just
does
to
say,
Charlie.
I'm going to come over
Oh, he
whenever I
does.
want. He's like, with your mom's permission,
Yeah,
of
she's
course.
right there.
Because I was like,
She's right there.
What
Yeah.
a creepy thing.
What a fucked
You're
up
like,
thing
This
to
ah.
whole
say.
movie, he is creepy.
Oh,
this
you've invited
entire
me once,
movie.
so I'll come over whenever. No.
Yeah.
No.
I find him creepy the entire movie.
It's
But
not how
he is pretty
invitations
creepy.
work.
I mean, he's a predator.
yes, he
he's
is a
monster.
predator, and he shows it.
This isn't a romantic vampire.
No, it is not a romantic
as
vampire. I mean, okay, I feel like there's points where they tried to make him a romantic vampire.
Or is it
like
just
classic, like I'm going to
sad?
fall in love.
I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like it doesn't know what it wants to be.
If you've watched those Twilights, boy,
This-
Edward is a fucking
I have not watched Twilight.
creep.
This morning, we talk a little bit just to get the temperature. You were thinking about how young Amy is
Yeah.
to the predator vampire.
uh-huh.
And in my head, I was like, isn't that Twilight?
Yeah,
Like,
of course it
doesn't
is.
that start in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
Edward
like
is old.
hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same thing.
and then Bella is.
I didn't
17.
watch Twilight either. I also thought it was predatory.
I think that's the story of vampires
Yeah.
and young women. I mean, this is very much Amy. Like, he waits for consent with Amy. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay. Later that night, Charlie hears knocking against his house, and it starts creeping down the hall with a cross. He's like actually holding a cross. The cross that Evil gave him, the little gold cross.
Yeah, it's like a little piece of costume jewelry.
Yeah. And then there's a squeaking noise coming from the living room. Turns out it's just a tree branch on the glass.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Jerry is in Mom's bedroom looking at her sleep.
Yeah, just standing there.
That is
this
exactly what Edward does to Bella.
This scene's great.
But he just leaves. He just leaves Mom's bedroom, but then he pulls the door shut so hard.
Not loud. He just pulls it hard.
That it just like jams the door shut.
busts
And like
the jam.
The jam
The door
like
jam
starts to
breaks.
crack. Yeah. Because he wants Mom stuck. And so he goes into Charlie's room, and then while Charlie is still downstairs, and then Charlie has come back upstairs, and Jerry is behind him, and Charlie is finally realizing that he's not alone in his bedroom. And Jerry then grabs Charlie by the neck and says, I don't want to wake your mother, do we, Charlie? I'll have to kill her too. And then Jerry throws him into the closet and just smashes all the doors to pieces.
Charlie is weightless to this man.
Yeah.
At which point, Charlie's mother wakes up. Right?
Well,
Not quite, but close.
not quite. There's no way that she wouldn't have. At this point. It was very loud.
Jerry grabs Charlie by the neck and he's holding him up above the ground and he gives him a choice to forget about him, basically, so he doesn't have to kill him. He's like, you need to forget about me. You can make a decision to walk away and I won't have to kill you. But then Charlie grabs his cross out of his pocket and then Jerry just crushes his wrist and calls him a fool.
Yeah. Charlie had nailed his window shut.
That's next, yeah.
And Jerry just flips it open.
It's like,
Yeah.
Doesn't, and now there's these
Now he's trying
pointed
to
nails
yeah.
hanging down from the window,
Yeah.
and he's putting Charlie out
Putting
the
Charlie
window.
out the window, yeah. And then a picture of Amy falls and hits a fence post and gets pierced. Charlie's able to grab a pencil off his desk, like he's trying to grab something because he's being choked out the window. And he stabs Jerry through the hand, which seems to give him great pain.
Apparently, wooden stakes in any part of a vampire's body
Yeah.
really fucks you up.
Yeah. And so he turns away and his nails have grown out and his hand is smoking and he pulls the pencil out and he's all monstrous, think Buffy, but not the weird forehead erection. He starts to...
That's really interesting. Yeah. Okay. I never thought of it like that.
that is the.
I did not make that up. I picked that up somewhere.
You know, Buffy was like the first thing that I saw that really had vampires. So the first time I watched something else and then the vampires turned and their faces didn't get all crazy. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought their faces were supposed to.
But this one they do.
This
His
one
face
is
got all
this
crazy.
one's pretty intense. Jerry in this scene, as he's calming down, goes through 3 changes.
Yeah,
and
like different levels,
The
yeah.
biggest one is like
Monstrous.
big and monstrous.
It's monstrous.
It's like, have you ever seen bats? Like with the type of bats with the weird, crazy noses
That
and
must
stuff
be
like
where they got it. It's
Sure.
because like bats have those like squidgy little
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah, it's like that, but big. And as his rage subsides, we keep
Where-
cutting back to him. Yeah.
So before, when he was still at like, the biggest monstrous, he growls at Charlie, and that's when Mom wakes up. So now she
that's the
starts.
thing that wakes Mom up.
Yeah, now she is yelling to Charlie, "I can't get out," and that's when Jerry slowly transforms back into his different forms, and then he gives Charlie a dirty look and then leaves.
Which is like, I don't like this boy. But there's a cool shorthand here where he runs out of the bedroom and you just see the shadow of the curtains and the window on the wall, and they go and blow up, and it's just this beautiful shorthand for Jerry jumping out the window and flying off.
Well, also, if they've just had this face off and he thinks this kid is not going to give up, why not kill him right then?
Yes.
Because then the movie's over.
That is correct. Then the movie's over, and it's only been 35 minutes. So.
Okay.
Here's the thing. We could game this out. He kills this family, and the day after, the kid went to the cops to say that my next door neighbor's a murderer.
He's dead.
And now he's dead.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're not going to find these. The other 2 were at least one was a prostitute. The other
Yeah.
one is probably a prostitute as well.
Yeah.
So those are the terrible term, the less dead, because blah, blah, blah. The gross idea that they don't have any connections. Now you're living next door to a homicide that is going to be found almost immediately because they're not going to show up for work or
Seems
school
like
tomorrow.
though they just, because assuming he's lived a very long time, they just move.
But they just got there. They're just unpacking. This is such a pain in the ass. I get it. You are right. But at this point, Jerry probably just was like, shit, I shouldn't have moved here. This was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Because he can't
Only
kill this kid.
He'd asked me. I'd be like, you shouldn't move to the suburbs. That's that's not where you want.
Yeah, I could just see Jerry and Billy inside the house going, I told you, Jer. I told you this was a bad idea.
Where we should be.
My grandma left me this house.
Okay, so Charlie lets Mom out and tells her it was just a nightmare, and she offers him a Valium.
She offered him a value.
And then
It's
he
just
said,
a nightmare, Mom. That don't look in my room. That's fucking destroyed.
I know, like, she didn't
And
even
your
notice.
door broke. It is a nightmare.
Well, don't worry, because she goes, I got to go back to sleep because my night shift starts tomorrow.
This is
and
the
then
end of
she
her.
fucks off the movie.
Yeah,
because
she's no longer in
that
the movie
little
after
line
that.
just tells her to leave the movie, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
He sends her back to bed and then turns on the TV and sits. And then the phone rings, and it's Jerry calling from next door. Jerry has just destroyed his car.
I love that he's Jerry's just like a pissed off bully. He's like,
Yeah.
I fucked up your car.
He did. He's
man."
like, I just destroyed, yeah. But that's nothing compared to what he's going to do tomorrow night. And Charlie is actually scared.
Now, one thing we haven't underlined is every time, this is the 3rd time that Jerry has
Turn on
turned
the
on
TV?
horror movies on television, and every single time it's a show called Fright Night with a horror show host
Peter Vincent.
Peter Vincent, played by Roddy McDowell, which we'll get into because he's going to become something.
Yeah.
But so this man has been.
He's
and
been
there-
in the background the whole time.
yeah,
But
has
it's
in the
not been like
background.
a feature
And
yet.
it is very specifically only vampire movies.
It's only
that he
vampire
hosts.
movies, yeah. So Peter Vincent is back on TV, and he's saying that he's a great vampire killer, and he's like, watch me do it. And then he drives a stake through a vampire, and then he's getting covered in blood. Like,
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
it's hilarious.
And then the next day, Charlie has gone to find Peter Vincent. He's
So
actually gone to
this
the
is a revelation
local
that
news
the only
place.
person who could help him with his vampire problem is this horror
Horror
movie show
host.
host who
Yeah.
acts as a Van Helsing.
Yes. Anyways,
But
Charlie.
the movie's happening, guys.
Yeah,
the movie's still
happening.
happening.
Yeah.
This movie actually becomes something very different in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So Charlie asks Peter if he truly believes, and he says absolutely. But then Peter has just
He's been fired. He's got an eviction notice. He is on his way out.
Charlie tells him that he's like, well, I believe, and that I have a vampire living next door to me, and you need to help me.
And immediately he's just like, God, these crazy fans.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't believe you, and he's like, I lied to you, I don't believe, and he gets in his car and he leaves.
Peter's like, this is in a lot. I mean, the man is literally carrying like a box
Yeah,
of
because
his
he got fired.
stuff.
Yeah.
They always carry like a desk plant, but anyway. And Charlie's like, but you told me. And Roddy McDowell is like, I lied. It's so like pronounced like, why don't you get this?
Yeah.
Also, why would he have to be like, I lied? Why couldn't he just be like, it's a TV show.
Sure.
That's a character I play.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to take I lied to you. Do you think
I love this.
everything on the TV is a documentary?
Is this movie bad? No.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a cute movie, but it's bad. It would have been great in 1985.
When I was a kid and I watched this, I've only watched this a handful of times. Last night, I was doing all this. I was like, why is this the only guy? Like, Lost Boys is 3 years later, 2 years after this movie, and it owes a lot to this movie.
Yeah, sure.
Lost Boys obviously is a almost too good to cover on this podcast movie. It's phenomenal. Lost Boys is like, we have vampires, so we just fight vampires. We don't need to find someone, except the Frog Brothers and that are kind of like
They are,
experts.
exactly.
But they're more like evil.
They
and
are.
less like Peter Vincent.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway.
They're not an adult.
Who's completely unqualified.
No, he's very much so.
There's not a single thing he's ever done other than being an actor
Yeah.
that would qualify him for this.
Yeah, so-
he already knows all the vampire lore from Evil. There's nothing to learn from Peter Vincent.
It's true, but he doesn't know that. So Evil and Amy have gone to visit Charlie. His room is weirdly full of candles, like church, like
It's weird. I
It's
don't know
so
why.
much candles.
It's like
And
it's like a Catholic
crosses.
church in there for
yeah. And Charlie is like carving steaks. Yeah, it's crazy.
He just went to a church and he's
it
like,
stole
I will
all their
take
candles.
all
But
of
the
this.
candles won't do anything against
No,
the vampire.
I don't know why he's in there with candlelight, but whatever. It's like trying to show us that he's like lost his damn mind.
Because what he's carving is the picket fence from outside. So
Yeah.
he has ripped up
Yeah.
part of his yard to turn into weapons.
No other wood
No.
available.
And this is why Mom had the night shift by, is
Yeah.
because she can't be witness to this.
Yeah,
mess.
no, she can't be. So the friends think that he's crazy and make him promise not to do anything because he's going to go next door and kill this guy. And they make him promise
Yeah,
not
this-
to until he hears from them again.
Amy
Said,
literally
hey,
goes.
buddy,
Exactly.
maybe don't murder your neighbor.
Yeah, she's like, he's a vampire. He's like, no, this is murder. You're talking about murdering a person, which is true.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as vampires, you ding
It's like,
dong.
don't do that.
Yeah. So the evil
We'll have
and-
to break up.
Yeah. Well, they already are technically broken up already.
They're on a
We'll,
break.
we'll never have sex now.
Evil and Amy then decide that they're going to go try Peter again. And he's like, Amy, you don't believe me, do you? And she just responds, I love you, Charlie.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Again.
What?
Yeah.
We need to start this
worry.
movie over, and it's called "What's Wrong with Amy."
It's not going to get a lot better for Amy,
No,
unfortunately.
it's not. No, it's not. So Amy and Evil knock on Mr. Vincent's door. And they get inside, but he's like, what could be more important than my autograph?
Right. Every time Peter Vincent is approached by one of the, he did this with Charlie too. He's like, "What do you want signed?" Because
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
who he
his
is.
existence in this world
Yeah,
is.
it's who he is.
Except he's got all these fucking asshole kids telling him they're about vampires.
Yes,
now.
and then she's like, saving a boy's life is more important. But at the end of the day, she has to pay him $500
to get him on board.
and it's a $500 savings bonds. It's not even cash.
I was gonna be like,
That's the
where
joke.
does a high school girl in the '80s get $500? This is the savings
It's a
bonds
savings
that
bond.
like her grandmother
Yes.
gave
Her
her
grandmother
for
gave her. It's
Christmas or
perfect.
something.
It's very funny how she.
Yeah, it is.
It's meant to be a joke.
It is. It was really funny. So they decide to prove Jerry as human to Charlie. So they actually call up Jerry.
On the one hand, this is infuriating. On the other hand, it kind of makes sense. So Amy, Evil, and Peter have joined forces with Jerry and Billy to concoct a plan where he's going to just drink tap water disguised as holy water in front of Charlie to prove that he's human. The idea that this man is a vampire is off the table, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is an intervention for this boy who they care about, who they think has gone nuts.
Right. And in the planning of this scene, there's also a conversation about how, like, in a certain movie where he had investigated if somebody was a vampire or human, he used a compact mirror to, like, see their reflection.
Yeah, it was his favorite prop.
His
it
favorite
was a
prop.
cigarette case that had a
mirror, and he has it with him. And so Jerry agrees, and he's like, but don't do it tonight. Come back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. The next day, the three kids are waiting outside, and Peter's late. It's 6:15. He hasn't showed up, but Peter does show up. And when he shows up, he's in full costume. And he has his vampire killer kit.
Yeah.
But he, like, locks it in the trunk. And Charlie's like, why aren't you bringing your weapons inside? And he's like, I'll have to prove that he's not a vampire first before I can get my weapons, which is so fucking dumb. But
well, this whole scenario is dumb in their
right. And the
eyes.
entire time, Peter and the kids are walking up to the door, and Charlie is trying to convince Peter that he has to bring weapons because as soon as we find out he's a vampire, he's gonna try to kill them, and they need weapons. Yeah. And they're just ignoring him.
It's an interesting little turn in this that you're like, no one's on this boy's side.
No one's on this boy's side.
No one even has an inkling that he's okay.
Yeah. And then he's like, I have this holy water, and he's going to drink it, and he will get injured, and it'll prove to us that he's a vampire. And so they go inside, and he's eating fruit again.
The only thing I can think is that it's like some Garden of Eden, like forbidden fruit.
It's almost always apples, but you said you saw an orange one?
There was an orange once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they just ran out of apples on the set.
Yeah, he was like selling it and eating the triangles. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So Jerry introduced himself to Peter and then notices Amy. So you don't forget, there was a painting earlier.
Right.
And he notices Amy and he kisses her hand in introduction.
Yeah, and Amy is almost instantly is a thrall, which
she is,
the Dracula is always, the plural Draculas always have that thrall.
Yeah.
Now, reincarnation in vampire stuff has happened over and over again, and I don't know, it was Dark Shadows, it's this movie, it's Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Wasn't Winona Ryder a reincarnation, which it was never in Bram Stoker's book?
No.
And then apparently in the Vampire Diaries, there's a reincarnation storyline. So
I didn't watch it. I don't know.
It's very odd to me that this thing keeps happening.
Maybe it's their attempt to make it better that like 100-year-old man is after a 17. They're like, but she's not really 17.
That's exactly that. I love that. That's exactly it. You just fucking immediately nailed it. They're like, no, don't worry. I know she's a 16-year-old girl who's about to be under the sway of a predatory old man. But
really,
it was real love back in the day.
So it's okay.
I
think they're just trying to like
hilarious.
Make you feel a little bit better about that.
You just like walked to a room in my brain and turned on the light. Yeah. It is trying to make something terrible okay.
Now they never do that with Bella in Twilight, so they're just like, it's fine.
Yeah. So
they said he's hot. Don't complain about it.
Lord, don't do the trouble to be like, it's fine. I mean, to be fair, that's the point of the scariness of it, is that it is a predator and it's going after a young woman. And I wonder where this mystical story came from in the imagination of writers. It's just because it's real life.
Yeah. Okay. Peter gives Jerry the holy water bottle, and Jerry drinks it, and no burns. And Charlie still doesn't believe.
He's
like, that wasn't holy water, is his answer. Yeah. But Jerry alludes to hurting his friends, so he says he believes. And then as they're leaving, Peter gets out that compact mirror, and he's looking at it, and he sees Jerry has no reflection.
Yeah, he's actually like just getting a cigarette or something. Yeah. They think the job is well done.
Yeah.
And so he's going to get a cigarette and walk out, and then he immediately notices
there's no reflection. So he gasps and he drops it. Then he says, I'm just clumsy. And then he quickly ushers the kids out the door.
Yeah. It's very noted that one piece of
mirror is still on the floor. Charlie knows something happened to convince Peter that Jerry is a vampire. And Peter, he's like getting in his car and he's trying to drive off. And Charlie is just like, you saw something. What did you see? And he tells them that there was no reflection in the mirror, and then he drove off.
Yeah, so now he's just running scared.
He's running scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. The boys then are walking Amy home.
And this is where they walk
into an urban center.
Half a block off of their suburban sidewalk into an urban center. It's just buildings. Yeah. It's smoky, foggy alleyways. I forgot that this also, Jerry's house is always enshrouded in fog, which I love that little detail. Every time they look at the house, they're like, oh, this is a haunted place.
Yeah, it's a haunted house. So as Jerry and the carpenter watch the kids leave, they make a comment that she looks just like her.
Just like her.
But like that's literally all they say about that weird painting. They don't ever...
That's the end of it, yeah.
Yeah, they don't say anything more. It's
trying to launder what is going to happen next.
And he walks away from the window and then steps on the piece of mirror Peter left behind. And that's when he knows they know. Evil decides he wants to cut through this alleyway to get faster to Amy's house. But Charlie's like, no, that's not safe. But Evil does it anyways because he feels like Charlie's calling him a coward. And so Amy and Charlie continue on the sidewalk, but then they hear a scream and they rush back. But Evil has just played a trick on him, you know. And he and Amy leave and Evil's like, there's no such things as vampires. Jeez. But then Jerry is stalking him.
Right. Jerry's just walking behind them at this point.
Evil realizes he's in danger and runs further into the alley until he hits a dead end. He just keeps running in behind him. And you know those scenes where like somebody's running, but the person behind you is just walking calmly?
It's a Michael Myers thing.
Yes. Jerry tells Evil that he knows what it's like to be different, and they don't want to pick on him.
They won't pick on you anymore. They won't beat you up. I'll see to that. All you have to do is take my hand.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
It is, yeah.
As Evil reaches his hand, a tear falls down his cheek. This is incredibly touching. This is when the movie kind of turns into something else.
Yeah. So, yeah, he takes his hand and Jerry covers him vampire style with his coat.
He hugs him into his bat wing, and Evil's head disappears like at his breast.
Yeah.
And it is a embrace.
Yeah. So then Amy and Charlie hear a scream, and they're thinking that Evil is playing more tricks on them, but then the power goes out.
Yeah, this is weird. The whole power on the block blows, and they walk just a step or two into frame comes this like exploded electrical box, which is sparking and everything. And I'm like...
And then they get spooked, and they run to a club, and they try to get into a club through the line, but there's a bunch of people in line. They won't let them in because they're like, don't cut in line, you know? Then they see Jerry, and they take off around the corner.
Again, Jerry's just kind of showing up.
Yep. Every
right
direction they turn, Jerry is right there. So then they crawl into a window into this club.
Yeah, it's like the kitchen of the club because it's a chef.
Yeah, it was a chef right in front of the window, like cutting tomatoes right in a window. Like I'm like, was this a food counter?
And the chef is like, "What are you doing? Hey,
you can't come in here."
And it hangs on him for a second. I actually looked him up. Like, is that the director? Is that like
there's nobody?
It's no one I could find.
All right. Well, so the kids go to find a payphone to call the cops. Meanwhile, Evil Ed knocks on the door of Peter's apartment, telling him that there's a vampire out here and I need in to be safe, whatever.
Now, technically speaking, Peter doesn't invite him in.
No, Peter just grabs him and drags him.
Peter just grabs him and drags him in. Is that grab and pull in an invitation?
I don't know. Right. Evil immediately then turns vampire and starts taunting Peter. Peter puts a cross on his forehead, burning him.
Now, if you ever see an image of this movie, it is probably going to be the image of Ed, half vampire with the cross
on his head.
It's pretty
Evil actually
iconic.
Then starts to cry. What did you do to me? You know, and is actually physically crying. And he's like, the master will kill you for this. Peter has now found his courage, and he advances with the cross, driving Evil to jump out the window.
Right.
Amy, back at the club, is scared, and she admits to paying Peter to Charley.
Yeah.
And Charley calls Peter anyways for help. Jerry is in the club now, and he's all cool and has Amy's attention. He's all like going through the crowd like the coolest man in the room.
There's some pretty sick 80s synth music playing this whole scene. Lyrically, did you just say
I did.
Lyrically, it's matching the scene where it's like you think I'm a bad man, but actually I'm good and stuff like that. When Jerry is showing up, stuff like that.
Missed that.
And it's a real club scene. Like
it's a real club scene.
It looks like a club. There's a bunch of extras all actually dancing and having a good time. It's a good scene.
So then Jerry's suddenly in front of Amy, and she goes with him almost like she's hypnotized. And then they dance, and it's a very sexual dance.
It is
so sexual.
It is super sexual, and it's off-putting to you.
Yeah, it was off-putting to me. I mean, it was, because I'm like, this is a 17-year-old, 16-year-old girl. Yeah, I mean...
She's in high school.
In high school.
Could be 18, but why are we splitting hairs?
Yeah, and who knows how old this vampire man is, but he's obviously Chris Sarandon's age. And and it was very off-putting to me how sexualized this dance in public was.
It is a complete swoon situation. It's what vampire... I mean, that's what I always consider vampires. There's two vampires.
Sure.
There's the big monster... vampire, and then there's the sex vampire.
There are moments in this sexy dance where like he tries to go for her neck and she's like no. So I'm like, is she really gone, or is she there and she's capitulating again?
Well, that's her character.
Yeah,
that's the constant thing.
Yeah.
And later on, there's a decision that she makes.
I know.
I think.
Yeah. So I don't think she's actually hypnotized at all. She's just very interested.
She's just like, a man wants me.
Yes.
No, but that's what the vampire swoon is in real life. It's playing off of the idea of like, I'm bad for you, but I'm hot and you're into this.
Yeah. Whatever. So Charlie finally realizes that Amy's gone and tries to get her back from him.
How does he finally... Why does he never notice?
By the way, Charlie's not a character anymore. But Charlie left with his mom. Because this is now about poor Evil and Peter and before Amy.
I mean, Charlie's around, but yeah.
He
does
he's
things.
there.
He's there.
He really said, I got you guys into all this trouble. Bye.
But
He's there.
also, I've been trying to tell you to fucking kill this vampire with me. And you
Yes,
won't,
yes,
so
yes.
this is kind of your fault.
That's what you get.
So Charlie goes up to them as they're dancing, and he tries to hit Jerry, but Jerry just catches his hand, and then like he hurts him and like twists his arm or whatever. And then he tells them to bring Peter Vincent back to his house if you ever want to see Amy again.
Yeah.
But then bouncers get involved.
This is weird.
Yeah. Well, because remember, these kids broke into this club. So the bouncers now finally found this kid, and they actually take both kids, and they start to walk off with the two kids.
Yeah.
But Jerry tries to follow, but the other bouncer just won't let
Yeah,
them.
I guess it's a good scene for realistic sake. So,
Yeah.
like, these kids can't be here,
can't be
and
here.
I don't know why you, old man, give a shit about
Yes,
these kids.
exactly.
So you need to back off too.
Yes. So Jerry's then grows his nails and his fangs, and his eyes get all red, and he hurts both of the bouncers
And causes a riot.
and causes a riot. Everybody starts stampeding out of this
So
club.
every time the movie starts to make a little sense where the vampire's like, I moved into this suburb, Billy told me not to, but here I am, and I made a mess of things, I can't kill this kid. Now he's like, hey, if you ever want to see Amy again, take everybody who knows that I'm a vampire, get them to my house so I could kill you all and go about my life. And then he just starts a vampire
out,
riot
yes,
in a
he
club.
vamps out in
Now
a club.
everybody knows.
Yeah. Anyway, so Amy and Charlie get separated in the stampede, but then Jerry is able to take Amy because of that.
Yeah.
They drive away in the Jeep while Evil laughs at him, all vamped out in the back
All
of the
vamped out
Jeep.
laughing.
Yeah.
It's like the monster mash driving
Yeah.
away from Charlie with the middle finger up.
So then Charlie goes to Peter's apartment, and Peter is packing to leave town.
He's done with this
He's
shit.
done, yeah. But Charlie tries to convince him to help, but he won't. He's like, I can't help you. Yeah. So Amy wakes up, and she's in a new dress. It's all white with low cut.
She's in front of a fireplace on a fur
Blanket
or
yeah,
something.
it's a fur blanket in front of a fireplace. And she's like looking around, and she sees the painting of herself on the wall.
Yeah.
And then Jerry advances, and his shirt's all undone, and then he takes his shirt off, and he sits with her. And then I wrote initiates intimacy, because I don't even begin to know how to describe what the fuck happens here.
Okay, I can.
Yeah, please help me.
So
It's very predatory. I don't like
it is some uncomfortable tongue kissing up close of this man and this young woman, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, so this white dress is
It's a
incredibly
halter.
low
It's
cut.
called a halter.
Okay, and it ties around the neck.
Yes.
So she's down to fuck, but then she gets scared. And when she gets scared, Jerry
He actually
backs
backs out.
off.
Yeah.
And this is all silent. This
Yeah.
is all in their eyes and their expressions. He backs off and does his hand up like, it's okay then.
Mm-hmm.
And then she makes a conscious decision, which is punctuated by taking off the one piece of clothing that is still around her neck
Mm-hmm.
and drops it for him, and penetration.
Well, then he bites her,
That's
and
the
blood
penetration.
drips
And
down
we
her.
Watch the blood drips down her bare back,
Yeah.
and it is lingering, and it is meant to be whatever you brought to the table. It is the monster getting what
What
the
he
monster
wanted in the
wants.
first place,
And it is
yeah.
it is the opposite of what Amy did, uncomfortable wise, exposing herself to Charlie in the beginning, is now quote unquote her decision in this moment, but I don't know. I mean, I think you could write essays about this.
Sure, probably could. All right.
You're like, but I'm not gonna read them, so fuck yeah.
So Charlie is outside looking up at the house, and then Peter shows up in whole vampire hunter character with his kit. He's come to help, and so they're about to walk up to the front steps, and then Peter's like, wait, we should sneak around the back, but it's too late. Front door slowly opens
just-
on its own.
Like, we know you're here. Come on in.
So then they go in the house, and then the door slams shut behind them on its own again. Peter is getting cold feet and wants to return at dawn, but Charlie says Amy will be dead by then, so
He's
that's when-
already dead.
he doesn't know that, though.
this again if this was Amy's decision to be down the movie in the world, then punishes her for having sex, just like these
As
movies
it always does. As it always does.
But anyway, our cool vampire dude walks out and is just running.
He's just running his nail down the banister, and
fingernail down the banister, and the wood curls as it goes.
it's probably the varnish more than anything. That's just
Fine.
curling
It looks
off.
cool. It's a
does.
cool little strut.
And then he's like, "Welcome to Fright Night."
And he goes, "Welcome to Fright Night."
For real.
I could have done one without the for real.
That's what he said.
No, that's what I'm saying. In the movie, I could have done without the for real. But I like his "Welcome to Fright Night" is kind of like
Yeah.
"Welcome to the third act." It's what Peter Vincent would say
Yeah.
in the beginning of the show. So it's a fun little moment.
So Mr. Vincent holds up a cross to stop spawn of Satan, but it doesn't work because Peter doesn't have faith. This is my issue, okay? So, like, Jerry like grabs the cross and he crushes it, and he's like, "You have to have faith to defeat me, right?" But he
already did that with evil.
He already did it with evil.
Yeah.
So why doesn't it work?
They got confused. It's evil. They always said you had to have faith in the cross. Charley has the faith.
Yeah.
And then the idea was when Peter didn't see the reflection of Jerry, he started to believe. That's why he was scared. That's where his faith came from.
Right.
In order to empower himself to do it to evil.
Right.
You're right. I guess maybe it's just he's scared in the moment.
That's what I'm thinking. He's less afraid of evil than he is of Jerry.
Maybe.
Or maybe the movie's just bad.
We'll just assume he's less afraid of some kid named Evil than of a vampire named
Jerry.
They are both, to me, very scary in very different ways.
Yeah.
Both of these weirdos.
All right, so Charley has the faith, so he gets out his cross and he's able to drive of Jerry away. But then he gets backhanded by the carpenter over the banister.
not my boyfriend, you bitch.
Peter runs away to Charley's house, calling for Mrs. Brewster. He grabs the phone to make a call to the police, but he realizes the line's been cut. So he's like, oh shoot, Mrs. Brewster's in trouble. And he goes up the stairs, and Evil Ed is in the bed wearing a yarn wig. It's a red yarn wig. And he's like lost his fucking mind, man.
Yeah, I love it. He's like, where's Mrs. Brewster? And he's like, she's apparently at work, but she left a note. And he pulls it out and goes, dinner's in the oven. And it's just like, this boy is so crazy.
Yeah. And then Peter runs and falls onto the table in the hall, splintering it to pieces. Ed is now transformed into a wolf.
This is a real wolfhound. It's no bad CGI or animatronic.
No, it's a real dog. And he goes after Peter, but Peter stakes him with a piece of that table.
Yeah.
And he goes over the banister, like, onto the first floor.
Yeah.
Like, from the second floor. And then there's a gross transformation.
This is
a
such
gross
a
transformation.
sad moment, Lindsay.
I know. It was sad.
Now the hound is replaced by an animatronic, and it is
like struggling
with to get into a corner. It is half.
It's like an injured dog is trying to get to a safe place. It is sad.
It is half. Then once it's in the corner and Peter comes down to see, it is half evil, half dog.
Yeah, so I wrote the creature that was evil tries to pull the stake out of his chest.
And can't. Is reaching for Peter to hold his hand while he dies.
Yeah.
And Peter wants to touch him, but can't bring himself
He can't bring himself to do it. Yeah.
So evil just says, I, and then dies alone in front of this man. And then it is heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It's like one of the best parts
It's
of the movie.
best scene of the
I
movie.
know.
When I was watching it last night, I was like, how did I not
remember that?
How did I not have emotions for this thing in the past so it lodged in my brain?
I don't know.
This is where I was like, oh, everyone in this movie is gay. Everyone is. Everyone's lost, and I think Vincent is a lonely old man who maybe never connected or was able to connect, except for Charley. Charley, this movie hammers home. When the camera pans through his bedroom, there's like Playboy pinups and stuff like that. Charley is just this heteronormative, I'm going to be the hero in this world of, and I know this isn't real, but like I said, Amanda Bierce is going to be an out lesbian.
Sure.
The actor who played Evil is going to go into career of gay pornography. Billy and Jerry clearly have a kind of like a relationship.
You have to see it.
Well, that's why I was like, I'd rather this movie be just about Billy and Jerry, and they're just gay, and they just love each other, and they're just...
It's not that.
That's what I want from it.
It's just that subtext is dripping all over it, that I may be reading into it because of the research or whatever, that there's a bunch of people who find that the world tells you sex is supposed to be this, and in their experience, it's not that. And so they're having a real difficult time finding out how to be. Like, Evil doesn't have to be a queer analog. He's clearly beat up and brought down.
He's just a bullied boy.
He's a bullied boy that is different than everybody else, which just, that Lego clicks into the queerness as well.
Sure.
So I think, like, all of the characters except for Charley are really struggling, and the world, this vampire, is fucking ruining their lives.
Sure.
That's it.
Okay.
And I think when we do the Colin Farrell one, we're going to be like, oh, it's just a bunch of boys fighting a vampire. I don't think there's going to be any subtext to that one.
Yeah. Okay, so Evil is dead, and he actually transformed back to human body without even the burned cross.
Even the cross
disappears.
The scar disappears, so he's in death whole again.
Yeah, he's whole again. Back to Jerry's house. Jerry, his fireman, carried Charley up to the same room where Amy is. She's like covered in sweat, and he throws a stake down and tells Charley he's gonna need it before dawn. He goes to like look at Amy to make sure she's okay, and she's got vampire teeth. Back with Peter, he pulls the stake out of Evil Ed's chest and heads back to Jerry's house. Jerry and the carpenter guy are downstairs in the basement and looks like they're prepping a second coffin. I'm assuming for Amy.
Yeah. And they're doing, again...
This is Vampire Bride. That's what he's looking for.
A Vampire Bride, there's a small detail of they're filling it with dirt. So
yeah, because you need
the coffin dirt for the vampires.
Vampire lore, you need the dirt of your home.
There's literally not an inch of vampire lore that's not explored in this.
So Peter broke into the house and he's up with Charley and he's like, I need to break the door down. I need you to make a bunch of noise. And so he starts like breaking the door down while Charley is yelling for help. And then the guys in the basement, while they're filling the dirt in the coffin, they're like, oh, she must have woken up.
Yeah. They're trying to do the cover, but it doesn't last.
Yeah. Well, then Jerry hears Peter actually talking and he goes outside and flies up to the window to look inside to see what they're doing. And then the boys, Peter and Charley, head downstairs, but are confronted by the carpenter guy. And so Peter just shoots him in the head.
Shoots him in the fucking head.
Yeah.
And I say, God damn it, thank you.
And then he falls down the stairs.
Finally, there's something simple and effective in this movie. Shoot this human Renfield in the head, and we're done with that guy.
So then Charley uses his cross to drive Jerry away, while the carpenter guy actually sits up behind him. So then they
I forgot. It's not over.
It's not over.
He does just...
they turn around.
He's like a zombie now, right?
I don't know. They turn around and they shoot him a bunch more. He gets back up again and again, and he picks up Peter, and then Charley stabs him in the chest with a stake.
So I guess he was a vampire too, because now there's this long melting scene that goes from goo to sand.
Or they're saying, but he's a daylight vampire. Or they're just saying that Renfields have to also be staked.
I don't know.
Which, I mean, kind of feels like that Nicolas Cage Renfield movie almost.
By the way, the actor who plays Charley plays the vampire killing priest in that movie. And
I love that.
Now I want to go back and watch that to clock it.
I like that movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
So he starts to melt into green goo and then nothing but bones. He like falls apart into like bones. They look like chicken bones.
Wet, and then it just turns into sand. It goes from goop to sand. And I'm like, okay, I guess he was ancient.
He was ancient too, yeah. They were trying to say that he's ancient. So then they run back to Amy, but she's worse, like super sweaty, and they're running out of time. And then Jerry is outside on the roof, and he's commanding Amy to wake up and kill them all.
Yeah.
Because he just lost his Renfield.
She's not quite baked yet.
Yeah.
She still needs to be in the monster oven.
She screams, and Peter goes after her, realizing that she's woken up as a vampire. So they're trying to find Jerry, and Charley goes downstairs, and Jerry smashes in through a big stained glass window.
Yeah, it's that big circular stained glass window from the beginning.
Yeah.
This whole time, Jerry's been outside the house, and he just kind of like pops up ghoulishly.
Yeah, he's just spying through windows the whole time.
And it's real creepy looking.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go and finish this. And he does this like action movie jump through the stained glass.
Peter was left up with Amy. Charley went downstairs. And so Peter is closest to that window as the vampire jumps through the window. So
How do we get to the basement?
Hold on, we'll get there. Peter Vincent confronts Jerry where they crossed. And Jerry's like, you have to have faith, Mr. Vincent, remember? But then Peter just doubles down and the cross works.
Yeah.
And
he just pulls the lawnmower cord on his cross one more time and it starts
to work. And then I was wondering why there were so many clocks on the wall. Okay, so this living room is covered in cuckoo clocks. Like covered.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
There's like 50 cuckoo clocks, and they all start to chime.
Some of them are like a foot off the floor, and some of them are all the way up.
Yeah,
at the ceiling.
like the whole
so it's just a wall of them, and they go off in order to be like,
it's dawn. It's dawn.
And I'm like, you could probably do with one, maybe two. I don't think you need 50 clocks to chime at once.
One of them stops working.
They do have to be wound. Feels like the Renfield's job would be to wind those clocks every day, but whatever.
Well, probably. Well, what else is he doing?
So dawn is coming, and the clocks are chiming, and Jerry begins to whimper because of that cross is still at him as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do. He's out of time. So he turns into a bat, gross, nasty bat, and attacks Peter. Charley tries to help, but he gets bit by the bat, and then a ray of sunshine hits him and burns green flame, and he takes off to the basement.
Yep.
Charley and Peter follow him to the basement, and while they're down there, like Peter's like deep into the basement, but Charley's near the front, and Amy has come down the stairs, and she's like, "What's the matter, Charley? Don't you want me anymore?" And
which is important, I think, because she's like, now that I have been deflowered,
for some reason her hair has grown 8 inches.
Oh, it's head hair. She has like the big like.
But she had short hair, and now it's down past her shoulders.
It's not a good movie. I think I'm just schlupping this bag of subtext into this episode. But yeah, it's the idea that it's like, now that I'm not your doormat, your pure little whatever, you don't want me anymore.
Yeah, but he doesn't respond. Jerry has now
It comes to nothing.
locked himself into the coffin, and Peter's trying to get it open. Charley holds up a cross to Amy, and she starts crying and saying it's not her fault, and he promised to keep her safe, that Charley did. He falls for her manipulation and puts down the cross. And then Amy transforms into the monster face and attacks.
Yeah. And her face is like this wide
open
ear,
teeth
mouth that has all these teeth in it. It looks awesome too.
So Peter is about to hammer a stake in. He gets the coffin open. He's about to hammer a stake into Jerry. Jerry. Charley yells to
This is a pretty fast movie.
I know, it's so fast
this
right now.
This third act, this last battle is
I paused it so many times to get these notes down. Charley yells, and it distracts him, but in that time, Jerry actually wakens. But then Peter's able to start putting the stake through, but it's not enough. So Jerry, dives out of the coffin, rips out the stake, and throws it at Peter, but it actually hits a window, one of those painted closed windows, and ray of sunlight comes in.
This looks awesome. So now all the paint blacked out windows, they're like, oh, we're going to start breaking these things.
Yeah, so they all start breaking windows.
You have these beams of light shooting and surrounding Jerry.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
And Amy tries to stop them, but Jerry attacks Peter while Amy and Charley fight. Charley breaks more windows, letting the sun in. Jerry has now cornered Peter, in a back room by the coffins, but then Charley runs up and rips a cloth off the window, giving direct sunlight into Jerry. And he starts to burn green, and then he actually melts and transforms into a weird bat skeleton. And
all of this
it disappears into nothing.
Everything looks great, though.
It's like, boop.
But the whole flashing back, melting, and then turning bat, and then all that melts off, and there's this awesome giant bat skeleton that has
this scene actually reminded me of the remake. I feel like a lot of this was in the remake.
This happened in the basement with the sunlight and all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff happened in the remake.
So Jerry explodes.
Yeah.
And
so Amy's back to normal.
Gets to live.
Yeah.
I guess it's
her hair goes back to the normal length.
They killed the vampire who made her.
Yeah, before dawn.
So let's check
before she killed another human being. That's part of the lore. As long as she's never murdered anybody else.
I don't know, maybe.
I have read that as part of the lore.
These are Lost Boy rules, and it's very.
Oh yeah, it's Lost Boy rules.
Lost Boy rules. It's the master vampire.
Yeah.
And then also David, when he in Lost Boys, when he goes through the antlers, my blood is in your veins, Michael. So is mine. And he goes through the thing. All of his scars, he turns baby smooth, just like Evil did.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much Lost Boys.
I don't know. So Amy's back to normal. Everybody hugs. There's only 3 people, but they all hug, and then we go back to
Charley and Amy hug, and then they
bring Peter in. Okay, so now a repeat of the opening scene where we see the house is back for sale. We go back to the house shot when we fly up to the upstairs window, and Charley and Amy are making out on the bed this time, not the floor.
The relationship's really evolved. They really become better at communicating and actually seeing each other as people.
And nobody cares that Evil is dead.
Hold on. Peter Vincent is back on TV. We see Red Eyes out the window.
In the neighbor's house.
House. But this time, Charley doesn't pay attention. He looks at it, and then he goes back to making out with his girlfriend.
Because he's evolved so much that sex is more important than guys next door that might be vampires.
And then we hear
job, Charley.
Evil Ed saying,
"You're so cool, Brewster!" And credits.
That was the end of the movie.
That's the end of Fright Night, 1985.
1985 Fright Night. And in a year from now, we will do the sequel. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to do the sequel in a year from now.
It's a cool update. It's got a great cast, and it's a cool update from horror movie show hosts, which don't really happen that much anymore, to it's David Tennant as Chris Angel
my God.
as the
I
magician.
I love that. That
David
was
Tennant
right
has
after.
an emo black wig. And
It was
right
out of
face.
Doctor Who. It was a year later max, and he was 100% this is the first time I saw David Tennant as anything but
else,
Doctor.
and I was like, this is brilliant.
It was brilliant. And
I don't know if the movie's good.
I don't either.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I remember watching it with you not too long ago, and we're like, this is fine.
Michael, time doesn't mean anything. We probably watched it over a decade ago.
Time doesn't mean anything. All right, what did you think about Fright Night?
I didn't hate the movie, but I did hate all of the predatory sexual stuff.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable with the amount of overt sexual touching that was going on with the young woman and an older man.
Yeah.
That was really bothersome to me. It just felt like this woman had no agency other than what her body was constantly. And that's what they were telling us, even with the amount of time that Charley just ignored her.
Yep.
Everything was about what her body was. And he wanted to have sex with her. The vampire wanted to have sex with her. I was very uncomfortable with that aspect of this movie. I did not pick up on any of the gay.
Yeah, I was in a different world.
Yeah.
And, now you mentioned, we know literally nothing about Amy. We don't know what she likes to do.
No,
what
she has
her
nothing.
studies are, what her family life
She's
is
a
like.
fucking
Apparently,
body.
she lives in a urban center around the corner from the suburb.
Yeah.
But
I think this movie should have had more gay subtext.
That would have been better.
It should have just been gay text.
guess what? I bet if this podcast ever got big, people are going to tell me that I'm a libtard shill for bringing the gay stuff to it. If I brought the gay stuff to it, I made it a better movie.
Wish there was more gay stuff.
You're right. Like, there's no justice for Amy
No.
in this at all.
No.
She doesn't get to...
There's no justice for anybody in this movie. I mean, even...
Charlie just is the same guy.
yeah, and evil has no justice. And
He's apparently alive. No, that's what I think. The whole evil might be alive next door thing really diminishes the very
death that he had?
incredible
Yeah.
death that he has in
Yeah.
this. That is devastatingly sad.
the only character that grew out of this was Peter.
Yeah.
He's the only person.
And that's what
he was
I-
able to go back and get his job back and be
Yeah.
a stronger human because he was a terrified human playing
he was
a
a scared
character.
man, a scared old man.
I mean, he's the only person that I felt was obviously gay throughout the whole fucking movie.
See, and that's because he's the more like low-key gay guy in this, I think.
Yeah. I mean, culturally, that sounds like right.
Right.
So,
And so, like, he had been closeted his whole life. Like, again, I'm bringing this to
You're
it. Like,
no, we are.
Like, his lover had passed and he is
Who
now
knows?
alone again or whatever.
That's why he's struggling. Who
But
knows?
I think the
Yeah.
thing with evil is so on the nose. I'm queer and different and can't figure this out. And I got promised something different and nice. And a literal embrace is so...
Which is 100% like a lot of vampire lore and novels, that especially modern ones, is the community and acceptance is why you choose to become a vampire, even if you're a servant to somebody else. Like, that is what happens, is you find the weak one and you make them...
And the dark side of that
More.
is happening constantly with forums and Redditor posts and chat rooms right now where you weren't allowed to be a evil, dark piece of shit out in the world, and you're not allowed to Thanksgiving anymore. But all of these people on this forum ask me how my day is and say I'm a cool guy.
Sure.
And we're all allowed to be racist assholes in here, and then we get an entire government filled with them. So there is a dark, like, gosh, that's why I love the podcast. I love that we could talk about this stuff.
Yeah. I definitely enjoy having different perspectives on a movie.
And I was like, I thought Fright Night 85 was like a classic seminal horror movie. And I watched it last night and I was like, why did Fright Night come with me all this time? And I'm watching it now and it's bringing something to me that I wouldn't have told you last week, that the queer subtext of Fright Night is why the movie's important.
No.
And now I'm
Yeah.
sitting here going, can I say that out loud to anyone else? Like, is that, did I bring that to this, or is that
At the end of the day, for me, I don't feel like it's an important movie at all.
cool? It's just Fright Night.
It was just Fright Night. Exactly. It was...
Just Fright Night.
It's a nice way to expend a couple hours, which is most horror movies. I'm sorry. Sometimes they say something. I love the ones that say something good. This one, I didn't feel said anything good to me at all. Horror should be an allegory to real world, and this was not that.
Unfortunately, I think you might be upset because it's a little too close to the real world of a young woman being
Okay,
predator.
maybe, yes, being
stalked
prey,
by an
you
old
mean?
man,
Yes.
being prey, yeah.
Yes, maybe that is
And
possible.
it didn't help.
It didn't help.
It just maybe like showed that and walked
I
away
don't know,
saying that
man.
that was a joke.
Because that
or
woman
it
had
made
no...
light of it almost.
She didn't get better. She just continued to
She
be
just got to
prey.
make out with Charley again at the end. Great job.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah.
Good reward.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm
that
over here
whole-
watching a completely separate movie.
The Indiana Jones argument that, like, if he hadn't intervened, and it would have ended the same because they would have
Or
opened
even
it up.
better.
Yeah.
Like that
Oh, yes.
Hitler might have melted because they would
Yes.
have brought it to Hitler first.
Yeah.
If the vampires had never been there, Amy and Charlie would be exactly the
Exactly the
same.
same.
Either exactly the same or better because Amy might have finally broken up with Charlie and found someone who gave a shit about her
Yeah, but now they went through that trauma together. They have a trauma connection.
connection, which
Yeah.
also maybe is not healthy.
No, definitely not.
It's Fright Night and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was Fright Night and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Do we have a question from John?
This question comes from our listener, Courtney. Courtney would like to know, is it okay to root for the psychopathic killer if they're hot?
Boy, that is kind of appropriate.
And you watched me pick this like seconds before this movie started.
That was a good,
and then as you guys were talking, I was like,
on the 11th hour, Jamie finds a question that connects.
God, this is really hard for me because, like, you have to, like, separate yourself from, like, you're like, oh, I really like this character because, yes, they're hot, and maybe that part of that hotness is the way that their behavior is. And I want to root for them, but also they're doing horrible things to people. And are they doing horrible things to people I don't care about? Or are they doing horrible things to people I do care about?
That's always like a really defining, because I'll watch these movies that are like heavily violent and gory, but if I feel like the main character is like an anti-hero where they're like destroying people that are terrible, then you're like, oh, they're stabbing people, they're ripping them apart, ha ha ha, so hot. But it's a totally another thing when they're just like picking on innocent people and you're like,
So my definition of hotness is a little different than most people's. There's attractiveness. I'm cribbing a little bit of Henry Zabrowski's last podcast on the left conversation. So this isn't mine, but he mentioned that like you could be like great looking on paper, but to be hot, you need to be like a little fucked up.
No, I agree.
You need the snaggletooth. You need the little Tourette thing. You need like awareness about you. And I think that mindset of mine lends to you got to be a little bit of a monster
between hot
already.
and pretty, Michael.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
There's pretty and then there's hot.
There's the conventional like, but that prettiness is what's celebrated in our culture.
Right.
Everyone gets their teeth fixed and everyone gets their shit
Except for
stretched back.
I could never
whatever.
like even like imagine like being sexually attracted to.
I know I look like a fucking monster. Just Jesus Christ. So what I'm saying is, I'm cutting you off.
Beauty and the Beast up here.
So, no, what I'm saying is I think that idea of hot is already leaning into the strange, the weird, the off.
Sure.
And yes, if all that's showing up at the camp is the pretty, I think Jason Voorhees is kind of hot. He's kind of a...
No.
She said
He's
no.
capable, he's strong, he's sturdy, he
has no personality and all he does is murder people. And he has no prettiness to him at all. You have to have all of the things.
Well, like, so
your bar is
guys-
so high.
Yes.
Do you guys remember when Penn Badgley came out after You? And he had to like come out on social media because so many people were obsessed with his character in You, where he
I know the story, but I never watched You.
I never watched it, but he stalks women, and then murders them,
right?
And like just keeps, and he's just a psychotic killer where he just like all the women have to be his. But the whole show is like it's narrated by him, so you can hear, I think his character's name is Joe, you can hear his thoughts, and so many women were obsessed with Joe. They're like, he's so hot, he's so good. And Penn Badgley had to come out and be like, guys,
that's a bad guy.
Joe is a psychopath. He's murdering and manipulating people. You can't be for this guy.
Yeah, we do this all the time, actually.
We do. I was going to tell, like, I remember when we were 16 and we went and saw Scream in the theaters and how hot Skeet Ulrich was.
Oh, well, because Skeet Ulrich is just fucking... And I see that's the same thing with Penn Badgley. It's like, well, Penn Badgley is just, like, hot.
Culturally, people were like, it's a red flag if a man likes Fight Club. And I love Fight Club because a lot of men... Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden in that movie is so fucking hot. At the end of it, where he's shirtless, the cum gutters, the fucking fur...
Wait, I'm sorry, is that what you call it?
That's a little triangle.
Yeah, a little triangle muscle. You call them cum gutters.
The cum gutters. Guys, get online a little bit here. I didn't invent that term.
We are not looking in the same place.
No, we are not.
He got the feather boa. He's both feminine and masculine, all of that. And people were like, that's so hot. He must be the good guy.
At the end of the day, we all know confidence is the hottest thing in the whole world. We all know this. Confidence is what's hot.
Sure.
And
but you've got to recognize when the monster's the monster. The one that I really like is Anthony Perkins in Psycho and Psycho 2, particularly. He's dressed beautifully, always has not always, but has often a black turtleneck. They have eyeliner on him. Anthony Perkins is so 60s city hot in that.
Sure.
And he's got his dead mama. He cross-dresses and to kill people, but he's hot. And yeah, he's confident.
He's confident. Again, confidence.
And you know who else is confident? Jason Voorhees.
He's still a monster to me.
I think also there's a difference in between looking at someone and being like, they're hot, and then rooting for them to do evil things.
This is true.
This
I mean,
is true.
I never
Okay.
rooted for Tyler Durden to do anything. I never rooted for Perkins to do
Trying to think
anything.
about like somebody we rooted for that was
Jason
hot.
Voorhees. I want him to kill those cameras.
No, what
When
villain?
Jason
what is
had the
hottest
girl in
villain
the-
that we rooted for. Just get over it.
I'm trying to end this podcast.
I think Jason
about
was
the babysitter?
made to look icky, though.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
well, and a certain part
She
of
was hot.
her hotness
pretty.
is how cool she is.
Yeah, no, her,
Because she's not
her
just
hotness was
hot,
how cool she
she's
was.
cool.
She was
You're
cool.
right. Her face looks like a Barbie was in the Black Hole Sun
If
video.
you-
She's just like,
No, if you ever
that's
saw,
too
if
much.
you watched 9 Perfect Strangers that also has Samara Weaving in it,
No.
she's playing this character that's supposed to be like
It's Lorraine Moriarty,
an
right?
influencer.
Yeah.
And they did stuff to her to make her look how an influencer might look if they like really go in hard. And I had to like look, it bothered me so much because I was like, she didn't really get that done, did she? And she didn't. It was just like the way they had like pulled her face and done her makeup and like gave her these big veneers and like the way
Hate
they,
it.
and her teeth are already pretty.
yeah,
pretty
the way they
substantial.
sort of overdid her. I was like, oh my God. And then, so then you go back to it and you're like, oh, your regular face is so beautiful. Thank God you didn't
I
do
take
that.
back. Samara Weaving's bunny teeth is that weirdness that I love.
I
that
know,
do,
yeah.
that I do find hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like snaggle teeth, you like
I
bunny
like
teeth, you
snaggle
like
teeth.
beauty marks. I know what you like.
I like y'all weird.
You know what you
Be weird
like.
for me. All right, you have just sunk your teeth into another episode of the Creature Popcast. I want to thank our producer, Jamie. She'll invite you in at cherrystreetstudios.com
I
or
won't.
cherry_street_studios on Instagram. Thank you to Kevin MacLeod for all of our music. All of our art is made by myself and Lindsay. You can get all of our episodes and our merch, and far be us from turn down a fool's money at creaturepop.com. Until next time, oh, you're so cool, Johnny!
Bye, John.